hope you're having a good day. I'm going to do something really different for you today. I am going to show you how to make a skirt, as in the steps to make a skirt, and I am going to challenge myself to do it in an hour. So can I make a skirt in an hour? I've not done this before. I did once make a skirt in a lunch break, and so it was around an hour, but I'm not sure if it was a full hour. But I'm going to test myself. I've got my little timer here, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to set that to an hour once I'm ready to go. I've kind of semi-cheated in that I've cut it out, so it's literally just the sewing. So I've got my pieces cut out. This is going to be a little A-line skirt. So I've got my darts marked. I don't know if you can see. And I've got my facings and I've got my interfacing already ironed onto my facings. So they're ready. I've also got a cup of tea, because you know that's what I need when I sew. And I've got all my equipment. I feel a little bit like Jamie Oliver. You know in Jamie Oliver's 15-minute meals, or whatever they're called, or 30-minute meals, which, by the way, are the most stressful 15 minutes of your life if you ever do it, because for some reason you feel like you have to test yourself and you have to do it in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes, whatever, it has to be 15 minutes. So yeah, okay, maybe you might sometimes get the meal done in 15 minutes, but at the end you have to lie down for about an hour to recover. Anyway, I'm like Jamie, I've got all my things out. So these are my pots and pans. These are my ingredients. So I've got my sewing machine and it's all threaded up. And I've got my overlocker all threaded up. And I've got some dressmaking fabric scissors in case I need to trim anything of the fabric. And then I've got my thread scissors, and I've got my regular zip foot and my concealed zip foot ready to rock and roll, and pins, of course. So I'm all good. Oh, before I start, I am wearing the Anderson blouse. I've got it on with a little cardi, don't know if you can see. She's tucked in, and I've got these really cool high-waisted jeans on that I'm wearing her with. It's a bit 70s because they're flared. So yeah, it's a cold day today. I've got my thermal vest underneath my Anderson blouse on, and I've got a cardi. But it means I can still wear my Anderson blouse. So, right, okay. Am I ready? Am I going to do this? Yes, I am. Come on, Lisa. Okay, here goes. So let's set the timer. Okay, it's 59 minutes. My timer has 59 minutes. Okay, it's ticking. And just so you guys can see, tick, 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 tick. It's on. Poppy is there. She's going to make sure that I'm not cheating. And away we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch my darts. So I've got them already marked. So what I'm going to do is going to take my dart and I'm going to place it right sides together, lining up the top notches. Pop a pin in. I've got my pin marking the point of the dart at the bottom, and then the lines that I've done to mark the darts, I am going to make sure that they match up either side, and I'm pinning along that line. One done. Okay, this completely defeats the whole, oh, sewing soothes your soul and it's really relaxing. I don't think this next hour is going to be relaxing for me. But I think it's going to be fun. Okay. Done, two done, onto my front. So my front piece is cut on the fold. I should have told you guys what I'm working with and what also exactly I'm making. So what I've done is I took a pencil skirt pattern and I took the top of it off, because the top of it basically stops at the, so it goes beyond the waist. So it goes about 1.5 inches, 2 inches above the waist. But for this skirt, I just wanted it to be to the waist, so I took the top of it off. That is terribly pinned. Focus, Lisa. Line your notches up. And then I've decided I wanted it to be A-line, so little A-line mini. So I then, from the hip, I basically shortened the pencil skirt because that's really long. I think I've made this about 45 centimetres long. And then from the hip, I basically brought it out to about 4.5 centimetres on the side seams, so bringing it out more than around 4.5 centimetres, yeah, so further out. And I then put a big hem on it, and you'll see on my hem at the bottom, I basically angled it back in. And that's really important when you're making any A-line skirt. If you don't, if you continue your hem like this, when you turn it up, you've got too much fabric to fit into the hem. So this helps it sit flat if you take some of it off there. One, okay. 3 darts done, another one to go. La la la. Nee, nee, nee. And probably in the drama of this, I'm going to spill my tea everywhere. Fortunately, my fabric is tea coloured, so it won't show. This fabric is called Melton wool. It's a wool mix, and it's something that we've started to stock. We've got it in grey, 2 different greys, and camel. And I haven't yet worked with it, so I thought it'd be nice just to see. See how it sews up, how it irons. Give it a whirl. Okay, I'm all done. I'm ready to sew my darts. Okay, a little bit of tea. Sewing time. So when you're sewing a dart, one thing you want to do your reverse stitch at the top of the dart. When you get to the end of the dart, you just stitch off, and then you knot the 2 loose ends together, so you don't reverse at the end of the dart. If you do that, it means you can sometimes get a little bulky point, which you don't want. But if you've never sewn a dart before, I have got a video in our tips and tricks section, so head over there. I'll put the link down in the comments below, so if you want to see it step by step how to sew a dart, you can there. Okay, I've sewn all my darts. My next thing that I've got to do is to knot them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to get a pin, and I'm going to put that pin into the knot and push it down so it sits flush against. I need to just calm down. I've worked myself into a state. Okay, so I'm just going to do these, and then guys, I'm going to iron it. And my iron is set up over there. I'm going to iron it so that all the darts are facing towards the back. So that means the front darts will be ironed towards the side seams, and the back darts will be ironed towards the centre back where the zip's going to go. Okay, I've ironed all my darts. I'm sorry guys, the light is just suddenly starting to beam in, so I'm sorry if my face looks like a moon shining brightly. Okay, so I've ironed them so they look like this. So he's ironed towards this side. Because it is a wool, it's not really like nice and flat, but it's fine. It's good enough. Time check, 50 minutes. 10 minutes that took me. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to, not zigzag, I'm going to overlock my side seams and my centre back edges on my skirt. Because when I finish the seams, I'm going to want to press them open because it's quite thick fabric. I don't want to press them together. So you're now going to see my head as I sit here. Little tip guys, when you are overlocking, before you actually sewn your seams, you need to make sure that you don't shave off any of your seam allowance. Otherwise, when you then do your seam allowance, when you're sewing your seams, it's going to end up making your skirt smaller. So be careful. Boom, okay. Done. 45, 46 minutes left. Okay, so I've done my overlocking, and oh, I've got sun in my eyes. Do you know what I'm going to do guys, because that's really annoying for you? I'm going to take these down a little bit. Can I do that? Okay, that's a bit better. Put the blinds down. That ate up all of a minute though. So I'm just trimming off my tails of overlocking. You really want to trim off all your threads as you go along. Otherwise it gets very messy at the end and it's hard to make it neat. So trim as you go. Right, next I am going to do, I could do my side seams, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my centre back seam, so that means putting my zip in. So I have my concealed zip, then it's a 9-inch concealed zip. Typically 9 inches down, about 9 inches down from the waist is the length of a zip you need. So if it's a waisted thing, then it needs to be at least 9 inches. And if it's lower rise, you could get away with a shorter zip. But if it is waisted, you do need their 9 inches, otherwise you can't get in. Okay, so centre back edge, voila. Zip, voila. Open Mr. Zip, open the concealed zip, placing him right side down onto the right side of my skirt, of my centre back, making sure that the teeth stop 1.5 centimetres from the top of the skirt, because my seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres and I don't want to lose any teeth. And then I am pinning him down so that the teeth are sitting 1.5 centimetres from the edge, like so. Like so. Again, if you've never stitched a concealed zip, there is a video on how to do that. I'll put it in the link. I'll put in the link in the comments below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my regular zip foot and I'm going to pop that on the machine, and I'm going to machine tack or baste my zip in place. So that means a long stitch length. And I'm just running down the middle of the zip tape, trying not to stab myself with the pins. He is now stitched in place. Now I'm going to put this foot on. This is my concealed zip foot. That makes everything so much easier when sewing a concealed zip. It's got channels underneath it and it holds those this part of the teeth, it holds it open. So feed them in there, normal stitching. Done. Okay, trimmy trim. Now you can take out your machine tacking if you want at that point, but I am not going to bother because it won't bother me, it's staying there, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, one done. Next. This is always when everyone gets confused when you're doing a concealed zip, because it just feels wrong when you're placing your next one along. Had a mild panic there. I was like, oh my gosh, because there's no right side or wrong side to this fabric, I suddenly thought, oh gosh, I've done it wrong. But I haven't, it's okay. I haven't done it wrong. I do know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm not so sure. Now, the important thing when doing the other side of the zip on a concealed zip is to make sure that it's going to line up in exactly the same points on the other side of the skirt. Otherwise, when you close it, you get a difference at the top. It goes like this. So we don't want that. So I am making sure that I'm aligning it. Now, if it was a really long garment, what you can do is put notches on the zip tape. So you still sew one side of the concealed zip in, you close the zip, and then you notch on where it hits a waist seam or the end of the zip on the side that's not yet been stitched. Sorry, we're in the bright sunlight again. So we're back to machine basting, and I'm going to speed this up for you guys because otherwise you're going to get very bored. Okay guys, I've just done the zip. That's 5 minutes, 40 minutes, or just under 40 minutes. There is my zip, my concealed zip. La la. So you can see. Okay. So next, what I need to do is pin it so I close the rest of the seam. Now this is the really tricky thing that a lot of people struggle with. I know in our classes everyone struggles with this. And so therefore I'm planning on doing a little close-up tutorial on how to close the bottom of a concealed zip. But essentially you're going to need to use your regular zip foot again. So I'm going to have that to hand, and we're going to start from the hem and we're going up towards the bottom of the zip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap but stitch just in front of where my zip stitching is. Okay, I'm at the scary bit where I'm really close, so I'm just going to really concentrate and get this neat. Look. Yep, I'm pleased with that. Okay, ironing time. Oh, 36 minutes left. Okay, so next I'm going to take my front skirt and I'm going to place it right sides together with my back skirt, and I'm going to join the side seams. And my tea has gone cold. I don't even want to look at it. I hate it when tea goes past optimum temperature. I've probably moaned to you about that before, but I just hate it when it goes lukewarm. I just can't have it. So, when you're pinning a side seam, you always want to think about, how is this going to be on the sewing machine? Because you want to always start from the top of a garment, working down towards the hem, so that if there's any discrepancies in the length, that it all comes out in the hem and not at the waist. So I'm going to pin from this side, which is the front, for the right side there, but then to do the other side I'm flipping the skirt over and pinning from this side. And that way, when I'm on my sewing machine, I'm going to have all the fabric to the left and the open edges on the right. Okay, sewing time. Foot, regular foot. Side seams always seem so easy once you've just done a zip. Woo, this is easy and quick. Remember to take your pins out as you're sewing. I foolishly didn't the other day because I was rushing to make samples for a shoot, and the needle hit straight onto a pin and bent it into a right angle and forced it into the machine. And I was lucky that it didn't affect the timing of the machine, but it could have very easily. So don't make that mistake. Take your pins out. Done. Okay, trimming threads, pressing time. Okay, so my seams are pressed open. My skirt is taking shape, but I now need to do my facings, so I'm going to join them together at the side seams. So I'm going to join these together at the side seams, then I'm going to press the seams open, then I'm going to overlock the bottom edge, and the time is 31 minutes to go. Okay, I have done those, guys. They are done. I am going to take that out. I am trimming these. I am going to press them open and then I'm going to overlock the bottom edge. Under 30 minutes to go. Okay, so it is done. I have got my seams there pressed open and I have overlocked the bottom edge of my facing. So now I'm going to put my facing onto my skirt. So I'm going to open up that and I'm going to turn it so that I'm looking at the right side and then placing it right sides down, lining up the side seams and the top edges. Voila. So bending my zip and tucking it back in and then turning over that centre back edge of my facing, so that when I stitch it folded back in. Make sure that your darts are still staying towards the back, so press towards the back and you're pinning them in that position. but they can, if you're not careful, you can end up sewing them back the other way. I have ironed my facings, so I've ironed my seam allowance up towards my facing, and now I've understitched as well. So understitching is when you stitch on the facing side and you're stitching the seam allowance to the facing, and that helps the facing sit inside the garment better. So we're at 20 minutes. I've done that. So now I'm going to iron it so that the facing is inside, and then it's hand finishing time. So it's hem and it's hand sewing, and can I do it in that time? Hand sewing is not the quickest thing. I'm going to try. Okay guys, I've ironed it so it's tucked inside, and then I have pinned it at points where I can anchor it with a hand stitch, like a catch stitch. So I've pinned it at the side seams, at the darts, and at the centre back where the zip is, so that the facing will help to stay inside. And I have overlocked my hem, so that is ready to be turned up, and I have 16 minutes. Okay guys, I've ironed my hem, and now I'm just going to pin it. I'm going to turn it inside out, it's much easier. Okay, hem is done. I've got 6 minutes to go. So I'm going to finish now the facing at the top edges. So I'm going to slip stitch the facing at the centre back to the back of the zip. And then catch stitch it at all the other places, so on the side seams and also on the darts. Okay, I've got 3 minutes to give it a final press. Okay guys, I've done it! There's 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go, if 30 seconds to go, and I did it. So here it is. You can make a skirt in an hour. You probably need to have a lie down after doing so, but it's finished. I think it's really cute. Okay, I'm going to go try it on. Ta-da! Here it is, guys. I'm pretty pleased with that. It is fitting me nicely. I like the A-line flare, it's not too short, and I made it in an hour. Yay! So I hope that was fun to watch, but also perhaps a little bit educational. Like I said, I'm going to put in the comments below, I will be putting links to anything that I think will be useful, so my tutorials on darts, concealed zips, and also this fabric, which turns out is lovely to work with. It irons really nicely, and I think it looks really cute. Yay! See you next time. Bye!